I welcome you to the land of whiteness. It's an entire world where there is nothing yet implanted into this existence, and whatever you imagine with your mind, it appears. I don't know why I just said that. This is just a white background. And this is a collaboration time with my friend Geekable, the cutest geek on YouTube. And she is a filmmaker, a film director, and I am a film writer. Yes, I am. That I have done is mini film. I don't know. Okay. What I decided to do with my good friend Geekable, whose name is not a Geekable, that would be a strange name for her parents to name her at birth. It was actually Rebecca. Geekable is her channel name. Link below. She and I are trading channels this week. So she came up with questions. She came up with 5 questions about filmmaking. I came up with 5 questions about filmmaking, and we're both going to answer all 10. I'm going to answer all 10 on her channel, and she's going to answer all 10 on my channel. So without further ado, here's the brilliant Rebecca, and just send her some love in the comments when she's done, okay, guys? Alrighty! Here she is. Ta-da!
Sweet. Nailing it. Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Rebecca Pruitt, and my YouTube channel is called A Geekable. If you search for A Geekable on YouTube, then it should be the only thing that comes up. And I'm super excited to be hosting here on Hope's channel this week, and I'm excited to answer some questions about filmmaking. I am a filmmaker as well as a YouTuber, and so I'm really excited. So let's get started. Okay, the first question is, how old do you have to be to start filmmaking? My answer to that is, if you are old enough to tell a story, then you're old enough to be a filmmaker. Of course, it depends on if you're younger and you're still living at home. You need to obviously make sure that you have your parents' permission for whatever it is that you're doing, especially if you're using their equipment. If you're using equipment that's not yours, you need to make sure that you have permission from people, but it really doesn't matter. As long as you are old enough to tell a story, you're old enough to be a filmmaker. Okay, number 2, what is your filmmaking style? My filmmaking style is, I do a lot of comedy, and I really enjoy doing comedy. I enjoy watching comedy and making comedy. So I would say comedy, and I try and use aspects of comedic acting as well as obviously comedic writing, and I try and incorporate the comedy into the timing of the edit and that sort of thing as well. So that I would describe my filmmaking primarily so far has been comedic. I would at some point like to do a dramatic film. I think that would be a lot of fun, a dramatic feature. I've done like one short that was dramatic, but it was only a couple minutes long. So I enjoy watching the like artsy, independent type films. A lot of times the story isn't that great, but the filmmaking is usually pretty interesting to watch. So I really enjoy that. And so yeah, so I would say comedic is a lot of what I do. And I don't know that I have a specific style like within that, other than just trying to be as funny as possible. Okay, question 3. Question 3, why do you want to make films? I want to make films for a couple of reasons. Number 1, I love making films. I just enjoy the whole process. It's so much fun, and I really enjoy getting to meet people and work with all kinds of different people, and it's just kind of a different world. I just like submerging myself into that filmmaking world. So that's, like, for me personally, why I like filmmaking. But then another reason that I enjoy it is because I like how I can make a film here in my little corner of the world, and I can put it on the internet or, on DVD or whatever, and I can literally, the film can literally be seen by someone on the other side of the world, and maybe they'll be impacted by that film. And so I think it's just really cool just how much of a reach film has and just how far it can go. So I enjoy that aspect of filmmaking as well. It's so cool to me that something that I make could be seen by someone on the other side of the planet and maybe impact their life even. So I think that's pretty cool. Number 4, how much money do you need to make films? Yes, the money question. This always comes up whenever you are talking to someone who's just starting out in filmmaking. It's inevitable that they will ask something of this sort. And my answer to this question is you need exactly $0 to make a film. And you might say, okay, that's kind of crazy. You need money to make a film. You can't just do nothing. You need like a camera and equipment and that sort of thing. Otherwise, you're not making a movie. So here's what I mean when I say that. If you're just starting out in filmmaking, you don't need any kind of a budget, okay? If you can't raise a budget, don't worry about it. If you have a good story that you can tell, people will still watch your film, even if it doesn't have maybe the best production quality. If it has a good story, people will watch it. So if you're going to do a film with no money, you do have to be aware that you're going to end up, number one, you're going to end up doing a lot of the work. Like you're going to do a lot more than you would do if you had a budget and you were able to hire people to do different things. You're probably going to have to do the writing and directing and some of the acting and the editing and the sound and all that stuff. You're probably going to do a lot of that. So it is a big undertaking, but if you have a good story that you can share with people, then it might be a good idea for you to, grab your cell phone or whatever camera you have available to you and make a film, because that way you can have something to show potential investors, and they might, potentially invest in you once they see that you are capable of telling good stories. They would be more likely to invest in you for future projects, and then you can move on to projects that actually have a budget and you can get nicer cameras and that sort of thing. But honestly, cell phone cameras the quality of them is to an extent that it's not as good, obviously, as if you would go out and buy a camera, like buy a DSLR or something, but that's not the most important thing in filmmaking. The most important thing is not what kind of camera you have, but what kind of story you tell. So again, if you can tell a good story, you don't need any kind of budget. Why are there flies here? I'm inside, I should be safe from nature. Okay, number 5, can you make money as a filmmaker? Yes you can. So I need to start off by saying, if you don't work for a big film company, it's going to be kind of hard probably to make a living off of actually making films, but there are many ways that you can make a living as a filmmaker. I have a lot of friends who will do photography or videos for like weddings. A lot of people take pictures like portraits. I know someone who will go and take pictures and or video of like stage plays at his local theater. So there's all kinds of things you can do that you can take the skills that you learn as a filmmaker and apply them to different things that can make you a living. So yes, you can. Unless you are Sherwood Pictures or the Irwin Brothers or somebody from Hollywood, it's probably going to be hard for you to make a living making movies, just because there is so much expense involved in making them. Even if you make quite a bit of money back, it's hard to have that continue long enough to actually make a living. But like I said, there's a lot of other things that you can do that will make you money that will use those same skills. So yes. Number 6, who is your biggest inspiration when it comes to filmmaking? That's a good question. I have several inspirations when it comes to filmmaking. I really enjoy watching Spielberg's films. He's a phenomenal director, and I love watching films that have good cinematography and that are shot in an interesting way. So just kind of some random films that I like. I actually just went and saw the new Tarzan movie the other night with one of my friends, and I wasn't really into Tarzan before that. I haven't even seen the old cartoon or anything like that, so I didn't really think I was going to like it that much, but it ended up being pretty good. It was kind of one of those, artsy films that are very visually interesting. There was a couple of times that the story wasn't quite all there, but overall I enjoyed it as a film and liked it much more than I thought I would. So that sort of thing. As far as Christian filmmakers that inspire me, I really like the Irwin Brothers. They're the creators of October Baby and Mom's Night Out, and I really enjoyed their stuff. I think that they have a great mix of being clean and family friendly, but they also are very original. They have a lot of really good story ideas, and they really understand comedic timing as well, especially if you watch Mom's Night Out. It's really good. So I'd say those are some of my biggest inspirations. Number 7, what is the hardest part of making a film, and what is the most exciting or best part? So for me, some of the hardest parts about making a film are, one is just the long hours, and especially when you're on set, there's just so much to be done, even when you're not actually filming, that a lot of times it's just really long hours, and, I don't mind it too much doing it for a week or so, but you also have to do a lot of talking on the phone, which, if you watch my YouTube channel, you know that I don't care for a whole lot. I don't mind it too much when I'm working on a film, honestly. It's not that bad, but it's just, I don't know, just a minor detail. But then one of the things that, the most exciting or best part, I think for me, one of the best parts is just getting to meet a bunch of people, and filmmakers are just really cool people, generally speaking, and I really enjoy hanging out with them and making new friends. So that's some of my favorite parts. Number 8, what is your favorite genre to watch, and what is your favorite genre to create? Okay, so I kind of already touched on this, but my favorite genre to watch would probably be comedy. I really enjoy watching comedy, but it's so hard to find good comedy that's actually funny, but that is also clean. And I think there's a huge market for that sort of content, which is why that's something that I really want to work on creating. I would say I really enjoy watching comedy. It helps me a lot with my YouTube channel and just kind of getting that comedic timing and that sort of thing. I also really enjoy watching certain independent films. Like I said earlier, I like watching films that are kind of more artsy and just like shot really well and shot in an interesting way. It's very inspirational to me, and so I enjoy doing that. So I enjoy watching those. Again, it's hard to find independent films that are, like, a lot of times if you find an artsy film, it doesn't really have, the story isn't quite all there most of the time, but there are some independent films that have really good stories, and so those are some of the ones that I enjoy watching. And then what is my favorite genre to create? That's a really good question. Like I said earlier, I do a lot of comedy, and I do really enjoy making comedy, but at some point I would like to do kind of a more dramatic, like, feature film. I've done like one short that was dramatic that I did with a bunch of other people, and that was a lot of fun. I'd really like to someday do a film that can just be more artsy, and just have the interesting cinematography and all that sort of thing, but hopefully also have a good story. Okay, this is a multiple part question. So number 9, how does your process of making YouTube videos differ from your process of making films? Which is easier and which do you like better? Okay, so my process of making YouTube videos differs from my process of making films primarily in that it is much faster to make a YouTube video. Most of the time whenever I make a video for YouTube, I will literally come up with the idea Thursday morning. I will film Thursday afternoon, edit Thursday night, and then upload Friday morning, and then by Friday afternoon I usually have some feedback from it. So that's kind of one of the things that I like about YouTube a little more than films, is that YouTube is just so much faster, and it's like that instantaneous feedback, and I really like that. It's kind of a neat way to kind of see, like, oh, how is this idea received, and should I do more videos like this, or should I do something different, that sort of thing. So that's really cool. And then which is easier? I would say YouTube videos are easier just because they are faster. And then as far as which I like better, I like different aspects of both. I like the speed of YouTube videos, but the thing that I like about making films is that you have more time and you can kind of perfect everything. You obviously don't want to over-perfect, but I just like having more control over things, because sometimes with YouTube videos I'm kind of it kind of feels like I'm throwing it together at the last minute, which I kind of am, but yeah, so they're very different, and I enjoy both for different reasons. So yeah. Okay, last question, number 10. What is your ultimate goal whenever you create a film? That is a great question. Did I say that's a great question after like every single question? I think I did. Okay, so my ultimate goal whenever I make a film is to provide clean entertainment for families that is actually entertaining and that they'll actually want to watch and maybe even watch again. And I think that there is quite a market for that. I think there's kind of a group of films that are clean and family friendly but maybe not that well done. And then there's this other group of films that are not so family friendly, but they're really well done and they're really funny or they're really dramatic and they really draw you in and people really enjoy watching them. But I think there's this huge gap in the middle for films that are well done but are also clean, and I think that there are a lot of people that would watch films like that. So I suppose my ultimate goal whenever I make content, whether that be a film or a YouTube video or whatever, is to make something that people can enjoy and not have to worry about, showing it to their kids or whatever, but it's actually funny. So that's my ultimate goal. And then of course, like I mentioned earlier, the potential to literally impact someone on the other side of the planet is just really cool to me, and so I would like to do that with my films. I'd like to impact people. Alright, that's it. That's all the questions. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end. If you want to see Hope's answers to these questions, you should head on over to my YouTube channel. It's Geekable. I'm sure she'll probably put a link to that video in the description box. If not, that would be awkward, but hopefully she'll do that for us. And yeah, if you enjoyed these, if you want to get to know me better, then head on over to my channel. If you want to talk to me about my answers to some of these questions or anything, feel free to comment on this video or comment on her video over on my channel or whatever. Send me a private message, whatever you want, and I would love to talk to you about it. So, alright, thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you later. Nailed it.